Hi, it's Mr. Reisky, and just wanted to show you how I did these coding bats in the section String-1 that uh, were best solved using the equals method. So here's the first one we asked you to try. Has bad, and you wanted to see if the word bad, the letters B-A-D, occupied either the first three spots, that's position 0, 1, and 2 of a string, or else positions 1, 2, and 3 of the string. Uh, if it did, you return true. If not, return false. So uh, I went ahead and found the length of the string first, because if it's going to contain bad, it's got to be at least length 3. Okay? That is, if bad's going to be in the first 3 positions, it has to be at least length 3. Further, if bad is in position 1, 2, and 3, that means the string has positions 0, 1, 2, and 3, and that means the string has to have at least a length of 4. So you got to make sure you do this length check. If you don't do it, you go out of bounds. And then just, if the length is at least 3, you can check positions 0, 1, and 2, like with my substring call there to see if it's bad. If it's in there, return true. You got to be careful though, not go out of bounds. If you don't have this check in here to make sure it's long enough, you're going to get some red boxes. You're going to get some out of bounds errors. Further, you cannot put it over on the right side either. Okay, if you missed class on Friday, we talked about this, so I'm glad you're watching now. And if length bigger than equal to 3, that's not going to work on that side because you'll go out of bounds on the left side with a string of length less than 3 if you don't check it first. Okay, so it has to be over here on the left side of this and then it's good. Same thing with the second if. Got to make sure it's at least length 4 because you're going out to position 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. That's length 4 word at least. Okay. Next one ends ly. If it ends in ly, the last 2 letters, then you return true, else you return false. And again, you got to make sure the length is at least 2, or else you're going to go out of bounds and get red boxes. Okay, you checked first to make sure you don't go out of bounds. You can't go out of bounds if the length is at least 2. Okay, check that. Let's see, the next one, concat. You put 2 words together, 2 strings together, and return them unless the last letter of the first string is the same as the first letter of the second string. So first of all, if one of the strings is empty, then just return A plus B. Okay? So if either A's length is 0 or B's length is 0, like in the third test case, just return A plus B. Who cares which one was 0? It works either way. Okay? And then else, you want to see if the last letter in A equals the first letter in B. So last letter in A is this very common substring call. It's been on probably half, maybe more than half your quizzes so far this year. A dot length minus 1, that's the position of the last letter. And then the first letter, of course, is position 0, comma 1 with a substring. Okay. If they're equal, then you can return all of A and everything in B except for the first letter. That's what this does. Or you can return A from position 0 up to the second to last letter, and then all of B. Okay, both those ways work. Sure, there we are, we're good. That's concat, C color. Okay, again, if you know to check to make sure the length is at least 3, because that's how big red is, right? If it's going to have 3, then if it's going to have red, then it better be at least 3 length. R-E-D, 1, 2, 3, length is 3. Okay? If it's going to contain blue at the beginning, then it better be at least length B-L-U-E, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least length 4. Okay? And then otherwise return the empty string. That was C color. Front again. Let's see, return true. The first 2 characters also appear at the end of the string. So return true or false. It's a Boolean return type. So you gotta prevent going out of bounds again here. If you don't check to see if the length is at least 2, you're gonna go out of bounds and get red check marks. Okay, make sure you believe me here. Make sure I'm right. Let's go ahead and not check it for a second. Control X, hit go, and here I am. My red boxes are there because I went out of bounds. I don't have a length of at least 2 on those test cases. The length is 1 for that one, and the length is 0 on that one. So make sure the length is at least 2, and then see if the first 2 letters equals the last 2 letters. All good. Okay, and that's front again. A couple more to look at. Without 2, right there. This one was hard to read, wasn't it? Looks hard for me to remember what they were doing here. It was a tough one. Let's see. You want to see if a length 2 substring, so the first 2 letters equals the last 2 letters. Okay. If the first 2 letters equals the last 2 letters, then chop off the first 2 letters. Okay. And you just chop off by starting at the 3rd letter, right? If I do substring dot 2, that chops off position 0 and 1 and starts at position 2, right? Substring 2 of a string will chop off the first 2 letters. So make sure it's got at least a length of 2, and then see if substring 0, 2 equals substring of length minus 2. And you got to make sure you don't go out of bounds. Make sure the length 2. And then finally, defront. Let's see that one. Defront. Okay. Given a string, return a version without the first 2 chars, except keep the first char if it's an A, and keep the second char if it's a B. So there's a few different things that could happen here. The first letter could be an A and the second letter could be a B. That might happen. The first letter could be an A, but the second letter is not a B. Then the first letter is not an A, but the second letter is a B. That's that case. And then finally, if neither one, then just skip the first 2 characters.